All right, today we are diving into something pretty cool. It's a system called the Critical 3 Academy Framework, and it's all about helping you think, learn, and communicate way more effectively.
So let me ask you something and be honest. Do you ever feel, well, stuck? Like you're just spinning your wheels, caught in the same old thought patterns over and over again?
I mean, just look at this list. Does any of it hit home? Feeling totally overwhelmed by all the information out there? Constantly second-guessing yourself? Or that sinking feeling when you realize you bought into a really flawed argument? Yeah, these are super common frustrations for a lot of us. And here's the thing, it's not really your fault. The world we live in is just so fast-paced, it's almost designed to trip us up. It leads to poor judgment and this thing called analysis paralysis. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where you get so bogged down thinking about every single option that you end up doing nothing at all.
So, how do we fight back against that? What's the antidote? Well, that's where things get interesting. We're about to introduce a framework that's built from the ground up to cut through all that chaos and bring some much-needed clarity.
And this really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about some tiny little tweak or a life hack. Think of it more like upgrading the entire operating system for your brain. It's about changing how you process the world and how you show up in it.
Okay, so let's break down the first of the critical three. It all starts with critical thinking. This is the bedrock, the foundation. It's all about sharpening your ability to reason.
And I love this because it takes this big abstract idea and makes it super practical. It gives us this awesome acronym, thinking. It's basically a mental checklist you can run through. Think about knowledge before judgment. What a powerful idea, right? Get the facts before you decide. Or narrow essentials. That's all about cutting through the clutter to find what actually matters. It's a step-by-step guide to thinking smart. All right, so once you've got your thinking sharpened, where do you go next? That brings us to pillar number 2, critical learning. And this is key. It's not just about cramming more facts into your head. It's about truly expanding your knowledge. And guess what? We get another fantastic acronym to help us out. LEARNING. Again, this is so much more than just memorization. Look at notice gaps. That means actively looking for what you don't know, which is huge. And grow through feedback. I mean, that's the only way to get better, right? This is basically a roadmap to becoming a genuine lifelong learner. Okay, so we're thinking clearly, we're learning effectively. What's the last piece of the puzzle? This is where your inner world connects with the outside world. Pillar number 3 is critical speaking, and this is all about empowering your influence.
Because really, what's the point of having all these brilliant, clear thoughts if they're just stuck in your head? And you guessed it, the SPEAKING acronym is here to tie it all together. It walks you through everything from structuring your thoughts to presenting with purpose, engaging with empathy, and asking great questions. It's how you take that internal clarity and turn it into real-world impact.
Okay, so the framework is great in theory, right? Thinking, learning, speaking. But how do you actually do it? How do you make it a part of your daily life? Well, that's exactly what we're getting into next, the toolkit. So this critical thinking toolkit is absolutely packed with stuff to help you out. You've got ebooks and audiobooks for when you want to go deep. You've got checklists and cheat sheets for quick reference, and even journals, quizzes, and exercises to really build up those mental muscles. Let's zoom in on a couple of my favorites. First up, the decision journal. This is such a cool idea. You basically just track the big decisions you make, what you were thinking, how it turned out, and what you learned. By doing that over time, you can't help but get better at making good calls. It's genius. And hey, remember we talked about that frustration of falling for a bad argument? Well, here's your secret weapon, the logical fallacy cheat sheet. This thing is your go-to guide for spotting flawed logic, not just from other people, but also, and this is the hard part, from yourself. And if you want something a bit more hands-on, a bit more fun, there are these critical thinking cards. Seriously, just think of them like flashcards, but for your brain. They're a super interactive way to poke holes in your own assumptions and spot your biases. And we're not talking about like 20 or 30 cards here. We're talking over 250 of them. They cover everything: cognitive biases, logical fallacies, even personality types and common myths. It is a seriously huge resource. So, okay, the framework makes sense, the tools look super useful, but does it actually work for real people? What's the impact? Let's take a look at what some folks are saying. Here's one from Marilyn. She said that critical thinking was a weakness for her, but this helped her not only learn how to think more critically, but it even helped her manage her time better by setting daily goals. How practical is that?
And I love this one from Aaron J. Hurstel. He says it cuts right to the chase. It's not just a bunch of high-level theory. It gives you a whole arsenal of practical ways to actually get better with real examples for each one.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together. We've looked at the framework, we've seen the tools, we've heard from people who've used it. So what's the big idea here? What's the main takeaway?
It really comes down to this powerful cycle. See, thinking sharpens your reasoning. Better reasoning lets you learn and expand your knowledge. And finally, all that knowledge, when you can speak about it clearly, empowers your influence. Each piece just feeds right into the next. It's a beautiful system.
And that brings us to the end. But it's not really an answer, it's more of a question for you. A challenge, really. After everything we've talked about, think about it for a second. What's one flawed assumption you're holding on to right now? Maybe about your job, your relationships, or even yourself. Which one are you going to test first?